is you have to remember it's not impossible to score 25 out of 25 in your A1 level, in your A2 level. Namaste guys. So today we'll be talking about Delf A1 Production oral and how to score good marks in the speaking part of Delf A1 level. So let's get started. So the very first thing you guys have to do is avoid basic conjugation mistakes. For example, I'm teaching since last 7 years and I'm observing that this is one of the most common mistakes. For example, like let's say there is a verb dir. In written, I have seen people doing this mistake. Vous disiez. This is wrong. Alright, it's dit. You have to keep in mind such things. Or, apostrophe. J'ai. People often forget putting this thing. Apostrophe. Alright, use this. Conjugation galti mat karo. Do not do this mistake. Point number 1. Now, point number 2 is concerning apostrophe. Point number 3 is concerning the correct form of verb. Now, what I want to say with the correct form of verb is that you need to be very specific if you want to use passé composé and imparfait. Alright, there should not be any sort of there should not be any sort of confusion in your mind. Actually guys, I forgot to tell you that apostrophe and all these things come in your written part, so you don't have to worry about this one. Alright, but in your speaking part, because see, when we speak, we have to be very fluent in language. This is first thing. We have to be very specific with the choice of words. Alright, choice of words should be such that you can convey whatever is there in your mind, and that's more than sufficient. Alright, this is what I personally observe when I sit for as an examiner. Now, another thing is masculine and feminine. I have seen a lot of people doing this mistake even in their A2 level, even in their Delf A2 level. Once I saw a student doing this mistake in his Delf A1 exam, but he failed that exam, so there is no point of discussing that. So masculine and feminine, I have made a proper video in which I have explained how you can distinguish between a masculine noun and a feminine noun. Alright, so just I'll leave the description in the description section so you can check it out. Now, apart from masculine and feminine thing, what you have to keep in mind is that whenever you use passé composé, you need to take care of your pronominal verbs. Why I have not made a separate slide for pronominal verbs is because in your written part also take care of an extra es in your written part. But since we are talking about the oral part, you need to keep this thing in mind. Otherwise, there is this in order to find what is masculine, just remember the endings: aj, mo, yh, phone, scope, ism. Alright, all the nouns ending with these endings will be masculine. Of course, there are certain exceptions. For that, you have to check the video in the description. Alright. Now, another thing is you have to be specific about the choice of articles. If you want to use definite articles or you want to use indefinite articles. Alright, why? Because once there was this guy who did this mistake, and he was doing this mistake continuously, and it was so funny for me and my friend that out of 25 he lost marks only and only because of this one minor thing. Otherwise, out of 25, he was a brilliant kid. He had the caliber of scoring 25 out of 25. See, in A1 level, it's not impossible. Alright, this is, you have to remember, it's not impossible to score 25 out of 25 in your A1 level, in your A2 level. Alright, so just this thing. If you want to learn these things, there is a proper video I have made. You can check that out. I'll leave description of I'll leave links of all these videos in my description section. All right. So lale, etc. When to use, how to use. All right. So this guy scored out of 25, 23.5 marks. For sure, there were one or two mistakes, but I personally feel that he had the caliber. He had the caliber of scoring 25 out of 25. Now, whenever you speak, you need to use a proper structure: subject plus verb plus object. Guys, why I have to write this one is because during exam I have seen students doing experiments. Please, for God's sake, do not do experiments in your final day. On your final day, all right. Just focus on whatever you already know. All right. If you want to score like 20 out of 25 out of 25, just use some extra tens, because in your very basic level you have a lot of choices. For example, you can use conditional, or you can use subjunctive. I know it's just like too much, but rest assured, if you use these two, you will score 25 out of 25. Because as a teacher we have to understand that if a student is coming to us with something like conditional and subjunctive, there is a surety that his level is around A2 P1, somewhere in the end of A2 and somewhere in the beginning of P1. So we are obliged to give you guys marks. It is a very simple but effective technique I have just shared with you. All right. To all the people who come to me, I personally suggest them to use conditional at least once or twice in their jeu de rôle, because in your jeu de rôle, there will be condition like, you are at some place and you have to demand something, etc., etc. All right. So that thing, just follow the book Delf A1 book, Réussir le Delf A1, and you'll find plenty of jeu de rôles in that. And complete all those jeu de rôles, and you'll be perfect in your speaking part. Now let's come to the most important part. This one. So let me just reduce the size, or let me just So the very first thing you have to do in your exam, is se presente. So first thing, the moment you will enter in the room, the very first thing they will ask you is to present yourself. So I have always observed this thing, that people start with je m'appelle blah blah blah, je blah blah blah. Do something different, guys. For example, what you can do is, you can simply talk about how your personal life is, because see, you already know almost all the grammar rules. You have the choice of घर पे रट जाओ यार, prepare it well, presentable, prepare it well. For example, you can discuss about your zodiac sign in your exam. No one is going to say anything to you. You can tell about your hobbies. No one will going to talk about their hobbies. All right, talk about your hobbies. For example, you love cooking, so you can discuss what you cooked yesterday. All right, nothing to worry about in this level. In your A1 level, do not worry about. After completing your normal rendezvous, in the very end, talk about your hobbies. All right, talk about what you love the most in your life, why you are giving this exam, and why you started learning French language. Talk about these things. These things do give you good edge over others. Just imagine, because see, the person who went there before you, he will going to talk about very normal things like, my name is Pankaj Yadav. I'm this year age. I live in let's say Dubai, and etc. etc. I live in Gurgaon, by the way. So in such a scenario, what you have to do is break that common mentality. All right, So for example, if you break this mentality, you will be able to get 5 marks without any problem. But there is very one simple thing you have to remember, that you have to speak slowly, lentement. They have specified this thing, and clairement, clearly and slowly. All right. Now, if you speak very rapidly, no one will going to deduct your marks. But yeah, your grammar has to be very, very correct. All right. Now, échange d'informations. Pour poser des questions personnelles, you need to learn how to ask questions concerning your family, etc. All right. No, not family, but the subjects you are familiar about. All right. There would be an jeu role, as I told you earlier. So what you can do is you can practice jeu role like anything. All right, and scoring and use expressions in your jeu role. Expressions. Wow. Now, what does that mean? For example, vouloir c'est pouvoir. When there is a will, there is a way. Suppose if there is a situation, you can, try your best to adjust all these kind of expressions. At least use one expression. All right, you will have an edge. Dialogue simule. So it's again normal thing. Jeu de role वगैरह में complete हो जाएगा ये. Now vocabulary. Now suppose if you use an expression of, let's say, very basic expression, it will show that you have a vocabulary. That's the only reason you are using this expression. All right. First thing, your grammar has to be correct. Your pronunciation. Work on your pronunciation. How you can work on your pronunciation? I have made a video. You can check that video out. All right. Within 7 days, you will going to see the effective results. And all right. And last but not least, if you need any help concerning your Delf A1, see, even though I have started teaching personally, but if you have doubt, you can message me anytime, and I reply to almost every person, and I don't charge anything for guidance. You can message me, and if in case if your level is somewhere around, let's say A1, A2, B1, B2, or whatever, till C1. I have recently started teaching for C2 level also. But in case if you have doubt in your A1 level or any level, just drop a message. I'll make a proper video. All right. So that's the thing. It hardly matters whether you are studying at Alliance Française or Bharatiya Vidya, that hardly matters. All right. You can learn French language from anywhere. I have also made videos on several topics. I've covered almost 90% of A1 level. You can check those videos. So that's it from my side. Score well, बढ़िया करो.